Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I am trying something with a new microphone here, and hopefully this microphone is working. At least I think it's working. I hope it's working. We are doing something called Facepaw Comments, which is basically comments that I've had on the channel, things people have said to me in the last couple of weeks that's made me go, what? So there have been quite a few. And I don't feel that necessarily I can get these comments out on the main channel because that might not be any good for me. It might not be any good for the channel. But I kind of want a place to vent where I can go, you know, those comments made me go, what? So there are some interesting ones that have come up in the last couple of weeks. And I'm going to kind of look over here. I'm going to pull these comments up and try and have the comments side by side in the same window as you guys watching this live stream live. Know that some of these comments are going to be taken a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It's a good way of me dealing with some of the comments that have made me go, what? All right, so here we go. Let's go to our comments. We're going to go to view all comments and we're going to go down. I hope everybody's doing really well today, by the way. I hope that you are having a good afternoon or good evening wherever you are in the world, or good morning, you know, if you're on the other side of the world. Got my afternoon tea. Lovely bergamot flavour, bit of Earl Grey with some milk. Known as a London fog, but in Portland known as a Portland fog. All right. So interestingly, some of you have been commenting on the whole should who should pay for charging stations, and we've had some people go, well, obviously those who want charging should pay for charging stations, and it just kind of made me go, do you pay for gas stations? Do you pay for the gas stations? Which makes me go, if you say that you want electric car owners to pay for their own charging stations, and the implication was taxpayers shouldn't, and electric car owners are all rich, and why would anybody pay for electric car charging stations other than the people who are buying the cars? And I'm thinking, well, that's not how people do it with the charging stations. So anyway, the next one that made me go face poor is the idea that keeps coming back, that automakers are still trying to kill electric cars, and nobody is serious about building an electric car. Nobody wants an electric car. And as soon as Tesla disappears, they're going to all stop making electric cars. And, you know, maybe at one point in time I could have said, yeah, okay, I can see your logic. But we're going to got to the point now where you really don't have to, you'd really have to be smoking something a bit weird to turn around and say, I believe that electric vehicles are going to stop being made when Tesla goes off the radar. And the idea that you, as a company, you would willingly invest millions of dollars into developing a product when you're secretly trying to not develop that product, that seems kind of a bit face-pawry, which is where I've come from, the face-paw moment, when people say, oh yes, these car companies want electric cars to fail. You know, despite them spending millions of dollars on this. All right, hey everyone in the chat room. Dax says, who did pay for the gas stations? They don't make any money. What banks loan them money? They have to replace or change the underground tanks every 10 or so years. Well, okay, so the I don't know who puts the infrastructure in, but I know for a fact that the gas stations make money off all of the ancillaries that they sell you when you go in and buy gas. And I think probably the gas companies maybe have had a part there. I don't know. Oh, hi, Jonathan. Well, Hi, Jonathan. You should be in bed, my dear. It's really late in the evening for you. It's like 11 o'clock at night, or is it? Yeah, it's 11 o'clock at night. Go to bed. It's nearly midnight for you guys. In the same way, ICE manufacturers are now making EVs. Existing electricity utilities step into the charging stations for a profit. I think that obviously the non-Facepaw answer is that utility companies are the fuel companies, so therefore they should be putting the charging stations in. The other thing that I kind of want to respond to is the whole Tesla. I say Tesla because that's just my accent. And it makes me it makes me smile that people get so upset about me saying I've forgotten how I say it. Tesla. I mean, there's a really subtle difference. I have to really kind of think Tesla. I guess in my head it is TEZ, LA. It doesn't matter. I think you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, Jonathan, Z or S. Where I'm from, England, Zs and S's sound very similar. Anyway, so that's another kind of head paw moment. And the person who said, blah, 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 old news, I think YouTubers are running out of things to make videos of, so they make any video. Boo! Reminds me of that old lady in Princess Bride. Boo! Boo! I think that when people say stuff like that, they get really upset because they feel that they have thought about a topic to a point that they've come to a logical conclusion on it. And when someone comes along and talks about it again, they feel angry that we've wasted their time. But no one has to watch a video on YouTube, right? No one has to turn around and say, I am going to watch this video, so therefore I am really cross that you talked about a topic that we've already discussed. That seems really stupid in my mind. So if you're going to make a kind of like, boo, this is old news, then do me a favor and don't, because you just wasted more of your time complaining about the fact that it's a story that you already know about. Does that make sense? It's like going, I already know about this. I'm so angry. I'm so mad. I'm going to write a comment to tell you how mad I am about the fact that this story is old and I already know about it. And now I've wasted more time writing the story. If you know what I'm going to talk about and you're happy with that, just sod off. I think probably is how I would feel on that one. But the other point is that with regard to the video we ran today about the Tesla layoffs, there were some news stories that came up over the weekend that made me revisit the topic, because I respond to what's in the news when I'm deciding what videos to do at any point. I respond to what's going on in the news at the time. And if there is a news story that suddenly has a new angle or some new context to it, I'm more likely to go and study that and look at that video. And so I think that's where I came from when I was looking at this video today. So there we are. I'm going to read some of these comments. Hello from Ireland. Go to bed, Dylan. It's getting late in the day. It's beddy buys. You should be tucked up with a nice warm drink. You're all talking about electricity stations still, electricity companies and charging stations, which is really nice. The new Toyota ad really winds you up, says Jonathan. Can you tell me about it? Because I haven't seen it. Obviously, in the UK and the US, the ads are slightly different. So send me a link and then I'll watch it and I'll tell you what I think. All right. So the other one, the other thing, Facepaw moments, are people talking about who come onto an electric car channel and basically troll and just maybe go, you do realize this is an electric car channel, right? Or this is a channel focusing on cleaner, greener, safer, and smarter transportation, which includes EVs. I shouldn't call Transport Evolved an electric car channel because it's not just about electric cars, it's about other things too. And this year we're going to be focusing on other things as well. We're going to be working with some bicycles at some point, which is going to be good. Cars racing across desert. Okay, Jonathan, I'm going to have to look at this. All right, Toyota, new ad UK. All right, desert. I'm gonna have to look for it now. New ad, desert. I can't see anything yet. Let me go to the Toyota YouTube channel. Oh, is this the self-charging hybrid? Oh, well, okay. I'm not even going to go there. The other one, the next one, is kind of a facepaw moment. Is the people who got really cross with me on Friday's news show. I mean, Saturday's news show. I think of it as Friday because I make it on a Friday, but it's actually on a Saturday. People who watch that show, there was actually someone who threatened to never watch again and unsubscribe and stop supporting me if I ever dared mention Representative Ocasio-Cortez again, which seemed like a bit of an extreme reaction, considering that, you know, those are the very same people who complained about me discussing politics full stop until I became an American, because I didn't have a right to discuss politics until I became American, who are now getting cross that I am discussing politics as an American in America. So that's an interesting one. I actually find it quite amusing that there are certain areas of politics that I can discuss and certain areas that I can't. And it seems to be that if you vehemently disagree with somebody in the United States, you just shout them down. Whereas I think in the UK, you just have a disrespectful disagreement. You have a respectful disagreement. Or maybe you have a disrespectful disagreement. I don't know. It just seems that there's not a lot of tolerance in the comment section these days for people with differing political opinions. And I think the other thing is that, you know, when you're watching the news show, when you're watching 10, or you're watching any coverage on the channel, some of it will include some of my personal opinions, but a lot of it is just kind of general stuff. And if I don't cover a fairly big news story, then I'm not doing my job properly, right? I mean, Transport Evolved is not about making... It's not about patting everyone on the back with the news stories they want to hear. It's about covering the good and the bad, and trying to be as fair as you possibly can be. You know, which is interesting. I mean, like someone said, I was so interested in the whole video until you hit AOC and the Green Deal, and it's funny because I think a lot of the people who are commenting haven't actually read the Green Deal either. You know, they talk about it, and so I think we've got to this politically charged point in the United States. We all need to just calm down and step back a bit. Does that make sense? Calm down and step back. All right. The next thing I want to have a bit of a rant about, but I'm going to come. I'm just going to read some of these others. Electric hammers coming in 2019, says Dax. Self-charging hybrid. Toyota Corolla Hybrid UK. Last pick is a hybrid passing an EV plugged into a fast post with the guy looking at his watch. Oh no. Oh dear. All right, let me see. Oh dear. Let me see. Copy link, open link in new tab. Here we go. I'm turning up the volume so I can watch this. Oh, I see where this is going. I see where this is going. I'm probably going to get a thingy take now, a whatchamacallit take. So it's basically all loads of famous cars from movies and over time and history, and then there is a car. There is basically these are all gas cars up to this point. The hybrid cars just zooming past, and then it goes past what I think is. That's not even a real car. It's like a fake electric car. It's like a fake electric car with a number plate that I've never seen before. And the license plate is A555 wow, which is arswow. That is, yeah, and they say don't get left behind. Wait to the end. Okay, here we go. Oh gosh.
Behind.
Don't get left behind. Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, I think Toyota is digging its own grave in that respect, isn't it? Really. I think Toyota is the one that's going to be in trouble in the future. But as Tyson says, political differences have become horrible, and I think we need to go back to a point where we can actually legitimately disagree with people without wanting to bash each other's heads in. I mean, I call this a Facepaw session because, you know, Facepaw, and because I want to have a little bit of lightheartedness into it, because, you know, there are things that people are saying in the comments section that just make me go, what? And I think we need to just, you know, we need to be able to discuss these rather than just shout each other down. You know, there have been a lot of people recently saying AOC shouldn't be in Congress, etc., etc. She got elected. She got elected just like Mr. Trump got elected. And if you are an elected official, I guess, you know, you have a right to be there unless there is something that you do in that office or in order to get office that was illegal or against the rules. So I guess that's where we're coming from. All right, this changes everything. Capitalism versus the climate is probably the basis for AOC's Green Deal. Yeah, I think you're probably right. What do you think about buying a pre-owned Tesla? I work at a car dealer, not a Tesla dealer. I live in the Northeast. We took in a 2014 Tesla S85 with 24,000 miles on it. Should I buy it? Well, I guess that depends what you're going to do with it. The S85 is just going to be, you know, the single rear-wheel drive. It's probably not going to have autopilot unless it's a really early autopilot model. As long as it's had all of its servicing done, and you know, as long as it's had all of your servicing done and you've got a Tesla dealership nearby, I mean, I would go for it, as long as it's the right price. Personally, I wouldn't buy a Tesla for myself because I think the car is too big for me. And I did a video about this. And again, that was another Facepaw moment when people watch the video and they say, oh, yeah, how could you? Oh, your videos, complete lies. There's nothing that you know, you're talking up, you're telling lies about reliability. And I'm like, well, you know, I'm looking at Consumer Reports reliability survey and it doesn't do well in that. And all of your reasons are nonsense. I'm like, no, some of the reasons were we can't afford it. We don't want to spend that much on a car, which are different reasons. Okay. And also it doesn't fit our lifestyle. That's not a bad excuse. It's the truth. And the car's too big, which it is. It's too big for our family. We couldn't get a Tesla Model S in our garage, our current garage. It's just not going to happen. And we're looking to move, and where we're looking to move to, having a huge car would be a negative because of the roads that we'd have to drive along to get to that. Most people will hate it. I read most of that book. It has a major poison pill. You mean the Green Deal? I don't have an EV because I have a 16-year-old Honda Accord, I think is what you mean, with less than 40,000 miles. And I think that's another thing that we need to kind of be mindful of. There's this kind of idea of you have to have an electric car in order to be green-minded or needed to think about, you know, watch this channel or whatever. We are looking at a future where everyone needs to make choices that are cleaner, greener, safer, and smarter. And the reason why Transport Evolved was never like the EV show or whatever because we could have called it anything back then. We were one of the first people I was one of the first channels to cover electric vehicles full stop. I mean, Transport Evolved has been around longer than Fully Charged, to give you an idea. So we could have named it anything, but we decided not to name it an electric car themed name because I think it's incredibly dangerous to set yourself up as just an electric car news site, YouTube channel, because I don't know what's going to happen down the road. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Dax says, my roof is covered with solar panels. So you are offsetting your older car by having solar panels on your home, and that's good. That shows my point about differences. If you say anything bad about Tesla, people will lose their minds, and that's exactly the point, Tyson. And it's really sad that people get so upset about that. I'm interested to know, I'm kind of reading through some of these comments, and I think I should probably note here is we get somewhere in the region of 400 to 600 comments a day on this channel. Oh, not this channel, on Transport Evolved, on Transport Evolved's channel. And in order for us to keep up with those, we'd have to have a full-time member of staff. Now, we are in the process of trying to set up Erin as a full-time member of staff. She's currently about, she's actually 2/5 full-time. So she works 2 days out of a week. We want her to become full-time this year, and we're saving up to do that so that we can actually offer her a full-time job. And then things will get really interesting and maybe slightly scary at the same time. But I'm not going to ask Erin to read 600 comments a day. I'm not going to ask anybody to read 600 comments a day. We do now have help with the comment section. But I find your commenters are too mean, so I don't comment very often. Please comment more often. So I just realized if I've got my lav mic on and then I drink, it probably sounds really terrible. So the other thing that gets me are the people who just come up with the weirdest comments and the weirdest things. And I'm sure they think in their little heads that they're being funny. So, for example, someone 6 hours ago said, is that the redhead from Harry Potter, in reference to myself standing in front of a camera reading? For a fact, I think it probably isn't. In fact, I know it isn't. Although, fun fact, Hermione Granger and I are actually the same age. I'm not talking about the actress, I'm talking about the character, because that year at Hogwarts would have been born the same year that I was. So Harry Potter and all his chums are now 40 or coming up to 40, depending on whether they've already had their 40th birthday or it's coming up this year. So that's an interesting one. Little known fact there. But and then people commenting about, my appearance is kind of a fun one. So, so there are also people who've been questioning, again, we've got lots of people questioning climate science and you don't know what you're talking about regarding polar vortex. Someone got really upset with me the other day talking about jet streams. Jet streams have got nothing to do with the cold weather. And I'm like, yes, they do. Science, people, science. Jet streams are currently really unpredictable. They're wobbling around all over the shop. They're wobbling around all over the shop because there's no ice up north. There's warm air over the poles, and that's pushing the cold air around quite considerably. All right, in other news, says Jonathan, all EVs in the UK are up in value, which is very interesting considering that we're heading headlong into all the Brexit situation. I'm just going to say it's all down to you, Jonathan, and everybody else, and Robert at Fully Charged, and that fantastic team. So a 2004 Leaf Ascenta was £1,500 more than 6 months ago at a trade sale. Wow, there you go. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive indeed. That's crazy, actually. That's crazy. That reminds me, I've got to sort myself out with an EV when I come to the UK for Fully Charge Alive. I don't think I can bring myself to drive a petrol car for a week, so I have to sort out something. All right. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in kind of a face poor moment, and this is really a face poor moment, is people talking about some of the t-shirts that I've been wearing of late. And there have been some people who've been going, oh, I can't believe that you're dressed so down. You dress the way you do. You need to change the way you dress. And I'm just going to say it here. Everybody who if everybody who told me what to wear or how to do my hair or what makeup to wear, if I listened to all of them, I'd never be dressed, for a fact. And also I wouldn't have any consistent style at all, because some people like it when I wear a t-shirt, some people like it when I wear dresses, some people think it's okay for me to wear jeans and a t-shirt, other people think that that's the worst thing ever that has ever happened. Some people don't like the shirts. So you know what? My body, my style. And if it bothers you that much what I'm wearing when I'm delivering information, then maybe your priorities are not necessarily where they should be. I do try and keep everything clean and tidy. Some people commenting about some of the shirts I've been wearing of late. One of them in particular with a character called Dog Bomb on it that says, ALS can kiss my fuzzy butt. And you can't read all of the writing on that t-shirt when I'm wearing it with my jacket. Some people making some really weird comments on that one. And the answer is it was purchased in aid of ALS research to honor a friend of mine who has ALS, who is fighting it every step of the way. And so if you have a problem with me wearing that shirt to support a charity, again, you may have some priorities that are lacking elsewhere. Some people trying to catch, if you talk about tech, you have to wear a black turtleneck, so says Steve Jobs. That's brilliant. I love that. The Tesla S85 with 24,000 miles I can buy for 32 grand, no autopilot. I don't know. Jonathan is probably the guy to talk to because he is based in the UK. Oh no, you're in the States. 32 grand. I'd give it a go. Actually, if you can get it for 32 grand, that's a really good deal. That would be good. I also have 2018 Volt. It's my second one. I plan on keeping the Volt. Hey, just a question. I noticed you and Alex from E for Electric sign off the same way with a wave from your head. Who came up with that? Okay. All right. So Alex from E for Electric came along after Transport Evolved was already doing its thing. And I must admit, Alex started off doing essentially what was something very similar to TEN, Transport Evolved News. His show was effectively a news roundup show, and he had almost the same kind of setup. He green screened it, and he had that sign off. And to begin with, when I first saw it, I must admit I was really pissed off because I thought he was copying me, and it was always maybe trying to take Nikki or something. And then I realized, no, it's just coincidence that he decided to sign off the same way. He didn't realize that I did it the same way, and I didn't realize that he did it the same way until we both saw it. And now, we do it as a joke. We both sign off the same way. I think it's kind of cute and slightly funny as well. So I don't mind. I came up with it first, but he is allowed to use it. All right. So I'm learning I need to be way more picky. None of this bothers me, but now I can't unsee your t-shirts. I'm trying to get some more t-shirts. One of the things we're going to do with Erin when she comes on board more, and she's actually she's going to be doing more t-shirt designs, basically. And then I'll be wearing some of those t-shirts to help promote them and sell them. But yeah, sometimes I wear anthro t-shirts. I mean, the one I'm wearing today, I don't know if you saw that. The one I'm wearing today is from a convention called, BLFC, and it was one that I was at last year. I've got the t-shirt on under this. This is a t-shirt for the Dutch Angel, or sweater for Dutch Angel Dragons. So I mean, yeah, I am sometimes going to wear anthro t-shirts or furry t-shirts or whatever you want to call it. But I will promise that, I mean, there's nothing that I have, no clothes that I have that I would not wear. You know, they're all family friendly. So those who are trying to troll and cause problems are honestly just trying to troll and cause problems. I mean, that's essentially where that goes. A 2016 17 Model S, 22k miles I can find for around £40,000, says Jonathan. So yeah, that's a really good deal, Jem, there. I think that's pretty good. Was there a kids show on the BBC you both saw that did that? I don't believe so. I mean, I didn't watch a huge amount of television. I had a very weird childhood. I had a very unconventional childhood because I spent most of my time playing music. And I didn't live anywhere where there were a huge number of kids, so I didn't really hang out with other kids all that much. So it was a bit weird. So there we go. I'm just trying to see if there are any other Facepaw comments in this that I've seen in the last 24 hours. I'm kind of scrolling through them now. There are some really crazy ones talking about, you know, communist socialists taking over the world, electric car owners, all of those things. So that's an interesting one. And then, yeah, so this person who's going, what's the story of the furry dude in the red shirt? That was Dog Bomb on the shirt. So there we go. And, you know, if you have a problem with that, then obviously you're not here for the information. If you have a problem with the shirt that somebody's wearing, maybe you should be listening to them rather than worrying about what they're wearing. And the same thing is true. You know, I get a lot of, there's been a rise again in homophobic and transphobic comments on this channel. Well, not this channel, the other channel. And, you know, water off a duck's back these days obviously means I'm doing well. I don't moderate for crazy, just for offensive, says Kate. Hello, Kate. Welcome. Hi. Kate does some of the moderation for us here on the channel, so she's doing a stellar job, and she's been snowed in right now. Her BMW i3 can't get anywhere in the snow because she doesn't have snow tires on it, but her RAV4 EV, her 18-year-old RAV4 EV, is doing just fine in the snow, which is kind of funny. If you think about it. So there we go. Finally, I want to talk about this thing behind me here. This is this here is a storinator. It's not going to be used. We've got a new one coming, fingers crossed. And what we're going to do is we're going to reuse that one, recycle it, and I'm thinking about turning it into a charging station for an electric car. So let me know what you think in the comments below, because I think it would be kind of a fun build video. I would enjoy doing that. I'm sure you would as well. So let me know what you think about that as an idea, and maybe we can go from there. Either California stickers were nearly under the snow, says Kate. Wow. That is severe snow. And for those who don't know, let me see if I can just pull this up here because I'm not entirely sure. Maps. Apparently it's 3 degrees and she's got like rainy, sleety things stuff at the moment. Because Kate is at rain and snow, just above freezing. So it's quite a way. It's not too far. Kate is only 114 miles from me right now. Her house is 118 miles away from my 114 miles away from my studio, and she's got stupidly large amounts of snow. How many words have you got in the YouTube filter? My female trucking friend has a lot to strip out a lot of hateful messages. It's still snow, says Kate. Not a huge amount, but we're going to start adding them because we have to be careful, because some of the some of the comments, obviously, yes, we need to add some of those. I was paying attention to your Mac 10 gigabit problems and your settings so it would not crash your Mac. Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing with that. We've still got some issues with our 10 gigabit network connection. Our current 10 gigabit network connection is saturating at, let me see, we can saturate it. So it's currently giving us about 650 megabytes per second write, and probably about 550 megabytes per second read, but it's not the full gigabit performance. And so one of the things we're going to try and do this year is we're going to take that server, that one right there, the black one that's right there, that one, and it's behind the monitor, you can't see it. There's behind the monitor, there is a server, and we will be upgrading that this year because it stopped working on the monitor. It stopped giving us any video output, and so it's kind of problematic. It's died 4 or 5 times today. So there we go. Got to run. Thanks so much for answering my questions. Love the show, love the accent, and your knowledge is amazing. Thank you for what you do. I am the Germ. Thank you, Germ. Stay safe. Let me know if you buy that car. I'd be very interested to know. There was a fully charged video a couple of days ago where they were pretty complimentary about that German EV with them. I'm skeptical too. The idea of solar panels on a car really still doesn't necessarily strike me. I think what we should be focusing on is affordability first, and then how we can fuel the car after. And I think that is the challenge, you know. So we'll see. Remember when you change server, remember to upgrade the UPS. We don't have a UPS right now. It's on our list. We don't have a backup server yet either. But we are going to put a different Linux. We're going to have a ZFS file system, so it shall be super nice and super quick. I'm going to use FreeNAS with some buffer high-speed drives and 10 or 16 10 gigabyte hard drives. Do you mean 10 gigabit? 10 terabytes instead of gigabytes? Be interesting to see. 10 terabytes, yes. There you go. Because 10 terabytes is, we've got 12s. So this right here, this is, oh gosh, this shows you how much data we have just sitting around in our office. These are 2 12 terabyte hard drives, just sitting here, waiting to go in the portable disk that we used at CES. Actually, these are the hard drives we used at CES. We had to take them out of the Thunderbolt drive because I had some stuff on the old drives. And so I'm transferring all the stuff off the old Thunderbolt drives over to the server. And once I've done that, I'll put the new 12 terabytes in and we'll copy that stuff back. Good night. Have good content. Keep up the great content. Thank you. And I hope that you have a sweet evening in Ireland. My first computer had 2 kilobytes of RAM. Storage with my cassette deck. Yes, I remember those days. My first computer had, I think I had a 512K. Yep, 512K. That was a posh one. That really was a posh one. We could get Kate talking about old computers for a really, really long time. However, unfortunately, I have to go because I have an appointment in about 10 minutes that I need to get ready for. So we've got some great content coming in the next couple of days. We're going to try and push the last of the CES coverage out. And obviously, again, back to the Facepaw moment when people could complain about the content that we create. And I can't believe you haven't done a video on this. And why won't you do a video on this? Sometimes we can't do videos on topics when there is no video assets to talk about, or none of the photos that we're given will work, and so we can't We can't make a video when there's no photos or videos, because then it'll just be me standing here talking to a camera, kind of like it has been here for a bit. And you did get some of the crazy comments. So we got some of the crazy comments. People saying, oh, you know, electric cars. Some people will say, you know, electric cars are crap. We get the diesel guys who joke about their diesel stuff, which is crazy. We get the crazy guys who are talking about conspiracy theorists. There have been some really interesting ones. Most of them tend to be anti-Semitic, so we have to take those off immediately. But we do have some really tinfoil people watch our show. Really, like, I shouldn't really say that, but real tinfoil doozies watch the show. And I don't know if they just watch it because it pops up in their stream or if they actively watch the channel. But there we go. I just realized you're wearing the same glasses as me. There you go. Da, da, da. I can't remember who these are made by, but I got them from my local optician. They're unisex glasses, so there you go. There we are. All right, so I best go. Thank you all for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Help me get this channel up above the required view count, and then we can start actually making money on this channel as well. We've got a hang up coming later on this week from with the wonderful Mark Chatterley, which you will not want to miss, and it's talking about his decision to not buy a Tesla Model 3, which I know is going to upset some of you on the main channel. So keep watching. As always, thanks for joining me. Keep evolving.